Hi, my name is Scott Park Phillips, and I'm in Boulder, Colorado, and this is Tai Chi Secrets. I'm going to talk about breathing because I got some interesting questions about breathing and what is Daoist breathing and how does breathing work in internal martial arts. The first thing to say is that the term Qi can mean breath. It also means presence in the theater, presence in the sense of one's capacity to shape space visually, and that's a meaning of Qi. Qi also means, and it's relevant to the term breath, because space actually breathes in a sense when you're on the stage and when characters are interacting. And Qi also means inspiration. So to be inspired and to inspire. And the act of taking Qi in is inspiration. In Taoism, we don't really think in terms of methods by themselves. If you just have a method, you can only get lost. Methods come from views. Views suggest methods, and methods produce fruition. And fruition verifies the view. So if you don't know what the fruition of a particular method is, if you're not really clear about the fruition is, you don't know when to stop. You don't know when you've reached it. And if you don't have the view, you don't know what that method is going to produce. It's essential that you have the view and the fruition for a method to be valuable. And it's kind of a tragedy that people get stuck in methods, like this method is right, without a basis in view and fruition. So I am going to talk about methods, but I'm going to try and keep it really clear what the view and the fruition is. The first method is called the silk spinner and the Jade Carver. So you breathe. When you breathe, it should be like the silk spinner. So it's just like you're pulling a silk filament, and it goes. Keep pulling it, and if you suddenly change direction or stop and go again, it breaks. So the breath is smooth and continuous. No sudden exhale, no sudden inhale. The turnaround is seamless. So the silk spinner. The Jade Carver leaves no scratches, so everything is smooth. And this is particularly a problem if you have students who study yoga, because there's all these people that are doing forced exhale and raspy breathing and stuff like that, and you have to do remedial work to get them to stop doing that. The fundamental view is that the breath is spontaneous, or 自然, natural maybe, but really it means so of itself. It's just spontaneously arising. It's not forced in any way, and it's not compressed in any way. And that's all the instruction you really need for the first year or two while you're cultivating stillness. The purpose of this breath instruction is, in a sense, to allow you to take stillness into action, stillness into efficacy, to take the stillness of your true nature or essential nature into action for martial arts per se, or for anything you might be doing, and for interacting with people. So you bring that, what we call it in English, inner stillness. You bring inner stillness with you, and that is the view of what the method is producing, is that capacity to transition. And in order to talk about breath after that, we have to have established that stillness and emptiness. And so until that's done, there's no that's also called wu wei, by the way. It's just like not doing capacity. And it is a capacity. So and that takes 2 years. I don't know, it depends. But once it's established, then we could also talk about breathing. There being 3 types of breathing. So there's lung breathing, and the sort of Chinese medical idea is that the kidneys sort of reach up and grasp the qi of the lungs. And it's a kind of an interesting image because the kidneys move forward and the heart moves back. But that's what everybody does. That's really normal. And then the next type of breathing is whole body breathing. So you actually move your body to breathe yourself. It's, however you do it. And there are lots of ways to do it, but you're moving your body in order to breathe yourself. And actually this is also natural and spontaneously arising, especially if you do something really intense, very physical, like dance, where your whole body is moving. You can't actually control the breath at that point. It's your movement itself that causes the breathing at the high end of capacity. But we're also doing it slowly. That would be the Tai Chi, internal martial arts idea, and that we're transitioning again from stillness into motion, but taking the stillness with us. So that you move your whole body at once in order to breathe. The third method is that the space breathes. So your mind is like a sphere. It could be actually any shape or any visualization and color. It doesn't matter, but it does have to be bigger than you. And it moves first. So you could say this is the spatial mind. The spatial mind gets bigger and it takes your body with it, and that causes the breathing to go in. Now, what happens when most people try this is that the first time they do it, their mind goes back in, and so then your mind is going into your body. So your body is no longer empty. So the method here actually is that the body is empty of intent. You could say even empty of desire, but I prefer intent. It's more specific. It's more accurate. There's no intent in the body at all because the intent leads the qi, and your intent is outside, so then the qi is also outside. And so you make the qi bubble bigger, and then you keep it big as you start to shrink. So the qi is out here beyond you. That's the key. And that's called spatial mind breathing, something like that. So now I actually want to talk about Daoyin a little bit, or Daoyin. People get confused a lot because the Qigong people claim that Daoyin is a predecessor of Qigong, whereas Qigong is actually something that arose in Chinese hospitals, Chinese communist hospitals in the 1950s, and then spread from there. And so its source material is actually a concept about healing, and that's its fundamental purpose. And I don't mean to diminish people who might enjoy that or benefit from that, but that's like the YMCA view of movement, right? That Qigong grew out of. Daoyin is actually the idea that you separate your body from your story. It's actually a different view, and so it has a very different fruition. And in fact, the method is quite different. And Daoyin, it's like Dao means means like a road, but also has the character for inch. So it means to like get back on the road, to tweak something so it goes the right way. And in means to pull a bow, but it actually means the space, the potential force or power that's generated by opening the bow. The potential energy there. So Daoyin, it's very much like an idea about breathing. And so I wanted to talk a bit about Wim Hof or Tumo breathing, because that's big and a lot of people are practicing. The Wim Hof is this guy, he's from Scandinavia, and the story is he was really depressed, and he just started swimming in like really, really cold water and going in the cold and stuff, and he naturally developed this intense breathing, which is very much like Tibetan Tumo. It's like, you do that for a bunch of times and then you hold your breath. And it makes you hot. And he figured this out on his own. And then like Coors Light, I think, sponsors him now. And anyway, it's really quite wonderful. And by the way, let me just say about this stuff, like, yeah, there's a lot of healing potential in there, especially for lazy people. If you find yourself or you know someone who's lazy, cold water, lots of cold water, spray them down, dunk them in it, or yourself. It motivates you. Cold water is really, really good for transforming. If you practice Daoyin, and you can watch, I have a couple other videos on showing exactly, what kind of practice it is. If you practice that in the winter, like in your underwear, in really cold weather, you automatically start doing the Wim Hof or Tumo type breathing and heat up. It's a really cool effect. It really opens your body up. So I just wanted to put that out there. All of that, both the three types of breathing, right? The long, the shrink expand, body breathing, and the spatial mind breathing, Daoyin, all set up the possibility of what's called Neigong, or inner strength, which is a complete reorientation of your body toward inward motion and tone. This is only possible once you drop the aggression of putting intent in your body. For martial arts, that means that you have no compression at all. Actually, for meditation too. There's no compression at all, no forcing. So no, if you're doing martial arts, there's no leaning, which is what almost everybody does, and no carrying. So it's like for Tai Chi, particularly, like anytime you touch, can't be leaning and you can't be carrying. Those are actually problems of the breathing pattern, the fundamental breathing pattern that hasn't been set up. So then you don't have Neigong as a possibility. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is something called reverse breathing. And a lot of people are teaching this as a kind of a method, and it's really not a method. It's a description of the fruition of this whole process. And it's actually it's reverse breathing is when you breathe from the outside. So the space breathes. You don't breathe, you don't actively breathe. The space breathes, and that's the reverse. Now, this does realign your body in very particular ways, and you could, like, with an aggressive mind, go, well, do this particular thing, push here, pull here, squeeze this, something like that, and like, soften that, relax that, gives these kinds of instructions, and sort of approximate it, but you won't get the fruition. You'll, like, actually never get there. It doesn't, you have to have the view. And in fact, in this case, you don't need the method. The view will produce the fruition. And so reverse breathing, like all of these things, is spontaneously arising because it is actually our true nature. It's what we are when we drop aggression. So thanks for listening, and give it a try. Give it all a try. It takes a few years. And if you like this video, please subscribe and check out my books. Thanks for listening. And you can buy my books at Amazon.com. Thanks.